What's up, Angel City? It's your girl Panda here, who is fine with her glass of wine because Lord knows this podcast is going to need it. Nina, my favorite co-host, what is going on? How are you doing on our take two?
Unstable.
Nina is unstable, everyone. We tried to record this about 10 minutes ago, and Nina got unstable on us, and we had to abort our mission, unfortunately. So we are back, and now we are exactly on time, which actually makes my punctual heart very happy. Welcome to episode 61, everybody. What do you want to talk about first before we get into it? We'll give a breakdown.
First, I'd like to clarify, it is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I am unstable, but also it's just my Wi-Fi.
I mean, we did not clarify because it is an all-encompassing term right now. Unstable in life, unstable in internet, just unstable some days. And it's okay to not be okay. And I think that is definitely the message of mental health awareness. Like, it's okay. Like, we've all been there. I've been there, I don't know, many times today, actually.
Yeah.
And many times this year already. But, it's good to have some good friends in your life. It's good to, have a good podcast to listen to. Hint, hint. Us. And whatever it is that you need to really feel good about yourself. But speaking of feeling good about yourself,
but you know how we like to do it. We're going to start out with some soccer news. This one kind of fringe NWSL news before we go into some ACFC news, and then we'll dive into the game recap, take you through some stats and standings, and then let you know what's on the horizon before we fluff it up.
Sounds good. Let's do it. Why don't you start us off with what's going on? Not in the NWSL, so to speak, but I mean, soccer in general, news can always be impactful. And I think this does impact one particular franchise in general. So why don't you get into that?
This is why we're calling it NWSL adjacent, because, I don't want to say that women always do it first and we do it better, but MLS is announcing that they are going to have a new team, and that is coming to San Diego.
San Diego. Yes. And, I like how you said that. It's almost like, they were sitting back waiting and they saw just how well the San Diego Wave did, how many people they were able to bring in. And they were like, oh, okay. Clearly there's a need. I mean, with the Loyal down there, Landon Donovan's team, with obviously the Wave, obviously the indoor team that's highly successful, the San Diego Sockers, and with the lack of a football team, American football, because, they just up and packed up and left. It seems like a great place to throw an MLS franchise. And, I can't say I am not a little bit excited about those away day trips. I don't know how you feel.
Phil's barbecue all the way. That's all I can think of.
We sent our email. Arena.
Yes. We are planning to go down for the game at Snapdragon, and like really on the way, you just have to go to Phil's. Sorry.
Phil's barbecue is far and away the best meal you could have, especially if you plan on having a great afternoon of, some fun libations with your friends. Get a good belly of barbecue in you first, and do this for NWSL and MLS games. It's going to be great. Take the Surfliner down and figure it out once you get there. I said that bar cart's going to be rocking. I cannot wait. It's going to be fun.
Ooh, it's going to be so cool. Yeah. But like we said, that's some tangential NWSL news because we did it first. Moving right through ACFC news, not too much to highlight right now, but Vanessa Gill, she did extend her loan through June 2024. So anyone who hoped to see her again this season,
this breaks my heart. It really does. I mean, if anybody out there watched the ACFC documentary and we saw her as a player who seemed very excited to be over here and really to be a part of something. And then everybody knows how that all went, where, she obviously, ended up going and getting loaned out during the World Cup, or not loaned out, but she went and represented her national team and then came back a little beat up. We didn't really get to do much with her. And, she'll forever be the person who scored our first goal in ACFC history. So this one kind of stings a little. I mean, absolutely, I want the best for her. She is a great player. She played in the Australian League for so long, and then Oh, wait, no, that wasn't her. That was Savannah McCaskill. I'm just making
Yeah, I
stuff.
was gonna say, this I have a little bone to pick with
I'm
because
just
in
making
the
stuff up.
HBO documentary, they talk about the fact that Gilles scored the first game in club history, and that's not accurate.
Regular season history.
That's accurate.
Yes.
McCaskill scored the first goal in club history, but Gilles scored our first regular season home
In
goal.
WSL regular season history, yes, that was obviously the Fugazi Cup or the Challenge Cup or whatever that Savannah scored in. But yes, that is accurate. And I don't know what's going to come of this, but she definitely has extended her loan, like you said, through 2024. And yeah, I don't know.
Whatever.
She's going to be probably representing Canada during the World Cup as well. So, she's got a lot on her plate. We wish her nothing but the best, but I do hope we get to see her back here in some way, shape, or form at some point before, anything else changes or anything is made permanent, I guess. So, anyways, that's where I'm at on that.
That's your Gilles feels.
That's my Geo feels. My Geo feels are, I want the best for you, but I also kind of want you back. Feels like a very tumultuous relationship. Like, I do want to see you go on and do great things, but I really think you're gonna thrive with us. But
so come
I guess
back.
we're not gonna get that this year. So, anyways, moving on to some fun news. I saw this today. So I guess you guys all knew that Jade used to be the name of the van that they had that toured around, did all kinds of fun road trips. It was painted up fun and nice and colorful, and you used to see it at all the tailgates and all the events. Jade was there, and well, we've moved on. I mean, I don't know. I forget what happened. Did Jade just
I think Jade needed.
Was it time for Jade to be
retired as a monument forever?
Yes, I think so. And because of our partnership with Chevrolet, we got this shiny new beautiful truck, and they were looking for a name for her, and it was announced today that the name for the new truck is going to be Luna.
Aww.
So everybody, we need to welcome Luna to our incredible community. She is going to be at all the home matches and all of the community events. So make sure you stop by and give old Luna like a little fist bump or something. Yeah. Anyways, that's fun.
Yeah, but that's pretty much all the news we've got from around the league right now. We've been doing lots of matches, covering lots of things. So what do you think? Should we get into this?
Yeah, we can. I mean, there wasn't a lot of news out there. I did peruse around, and because there were so many games this weekend, all the news was really about those individual games and performers. And I really don't want to make this a podcast about that. You guys are very well and capable of going out there and seeing who's doing what on these other teams. We really just care about what we're doing here at Angel City. And boy, do we have some thoughts on this one. Like, you definitely want to stick around to the end, because you know what? It's not always sunshine and rainbows. Like, we can definitely support our team. We can definitely be on the forefront of saying, like, trust the process, like, be there for them. Like, it's going to happen. But at some point, we do need to get a little real and say, okay, Nina, what's the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Right. And, at some point you gotta stop doing that. So let's get into this match and our thoughts on it. And then, we'll just kind of talk a little bit about, where we're at, what our thoughts are, give you some fun little metrics to kind of ponder over. And then you guys can hit us up on social media, of course, if you would like, and let us know your thoughts as well. What do you think needs to maybe be the changing factor in all this? But before we do that, let's get into this game recap. We are so fortunate that ACFC does such a good job of giving us some great post-game notes. So, we can watch the game, but then to be able to verbalize what really happened, they do a good job. So we're kind of going to go through what they had to say about the match, add our little spin to it, and kind of tell you what we think that means and our own personal thoughts as well. But kind of paint you a little picture of what it was in case you didn't see the match, and then we'll go from there. So, Nina, why don't you kick us off, because I've talked way too much already, and I need a drink.
You're doing such a good job. I am not feeling talkative this week. I think you know that already, but we'll fluff that later. Let's go through these lineups real quick. So
I'm so glad you remembered, because we totally forgot last time. We went right past lineups. We're like, it don't even matter.
We were just on it.
But here they are. I got the graphics up for you. If you are not on YouTube and you'd like to see them, you can head back there now. But yes, go over the lineups. They're both on the same slide. Let's just run through them real quick and point out any key notes that you would like to say about these.
Yeah, nothing too crazy. We are seeing, of course, Riley still as captain, Vignola getting that nod again. We talked about her last week a lot. And then Hammond, I like that she's sticking around in the midfield. And then our top three, Emsley, Endo, and Johnson, Kjo. So,
Whoop,
of
whoop.
course, facing off against somebody you see pictured on the screen, it
You think
breaks
that was
my
on
heart.
purpose?
It breaks my heart to know that we have exes out there in the world, and Tyler Lucy being one of them. She definitely stirred up some trouble for us. But then the other name you need to know would be number 9, Caroline Nicolai. Man, we had a time with this team.
No Sleeves FC. Oh,
She's got sleeves there.
man, like we're gonna definitely talk about her towards the end and our thoughts about some things. But yeah, I mean, on their game card and on their starting 11, they've got her front and center as their only graphic. So you have to wonder how deliberate that was, right?
We miss you.
We miss you. We love Tyler Lucy. It's a shame that I don't think we got to see the full potential of her, and I'm happy that she is living her full potential currently. So, again, a little bit about that later. Let's get into this game and just talk about what kind of happened or what didn't happen, I guess, in this sense.
I mean, it's no secret. No one scored. 0-0 was the final score.
And that's our podcast, folks.
And if there's one thing people who don't like soccer really hate about soccer, it's the fact that a game can end 0-0.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But you know what Angel City didn't hate was, getting a clean sheet, of course. So we may not have scored, but we also did not. Yeah. We got a point on the road and they didn't score, which is always good, always helps that goal differential that can be very crucial in the end. However, it still doesn't mean that, we were fantastic by any means or that it was an exciting game. So let's get into it. I'll start us off. North Carolina. So they came out. They definitely dominated the match offensively, but our defense did continue, their strong run of form, and they did limit Courage to only 3 shots on target out of a total 12. So they were definitely not giving them very many open chances, which is good, I suppose. But the Courage, I mean, well, we're taking small back
victories. Let's take low bar stats.
Well, yeah, we're very low bar right now with this, okay? 3 shots on target out of 12 shots that were allowed. Yes. And their first shot on frame actually was in the 14th minute when their forward and member of our squad, No Sleeves FC, Tyler Lucy, she was not messing around in this game. She ran onto a long diagonal ball and put a shot on target. However, Didi Herachich saved her shot, but she was able to hold on to the ball, which has happened a couple times. And it's very important to be able to came to Lucy's feet again, but her second attempt was blocked by Allie Riley. So
thank you, Captain.
Yes, thank you, Captain, my captain. We just don't want to see that. You never want to give a team a chance at a rebound shot because no one is ready for what's about to come. Thankfully, Allie Riley was there. And we were saved.
Yeah. And I mean, one thing I do remember about Tyler Lucy, it was really back when we started and we were in the Fugazi Cup. And I remember you and I had a chance to talk with Tyler a little. And she definitely has a fire underneath her when it comes to playing against her old teams. And she wants to score. She wants to make other teams regret letting her go. And she was giving it to us a lot. Right after that, in the 23rd minute, Didi had another save when Emily Fox and Madsen were passing back and forth. No real pressure on them. And Fox is able to get that ball over to Lucy. And Lucy is just at the top of the 6-yard box. Like, this is terrifying. Not at all what we want to happen. We need to be stepping to those balls. But thankfully, Didi was able to get down and stop that close range shot. And
I mean, don't you think that this would have been like something that they would have talked about? Like, why are we even leaving her open to have these shots? Why is she there able to receive that ball? Like, that should have been something. I mean, they know how good she was. They really do. And I mean,
but do we?
Honestly,
I mean, we played her
really get to see it. I know. But we did see her in offense. And I mean, she was very impactful in the Challenge Cup as a forward, and that was one thing we were excited about. I mean, she came off the crossbar several times early in the season, and then, like we said, moving her to defense. I mean, yes, I get some of that reasoning, but I guess you have to pick and choose. Do you want your defenders well covered, or do you want to score shots?
And here's where I get irritated because so in the 23rd minute, we've got Lucy loose in the 6-yard box. And then in the 28th minute, again, Lucy loose in the 6th. Like she's able to head a ball over the crossbar. It's Lucy loose.
Lucy's loose. Why are we letting Lucy loose?
In the 6th.
Oh, that's the name of our episode. The one where Lucy's loose.
There we have it.
But yeah, I mean, right there in just those first, 30 minutes, she's had 4 chances at the ball. And I mean, gosh, that's more than she had in our entire regular season with us.
Oh, sad face.
I know, right? Womp, womp, womp. I'm not going to do that because it's too far away. But yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. Now, the Courage, they did have their best chance in the 48th minute when Carolyn, she did cut inside on a run up the right wing. She made a backheel pass to Narumi as the Japanese international overlapped her. She had a clear shot on goal, but put it over the bar. So no goal there. Defense is kind of, I mean, I don't know if it's more
defense run,
but they're also not finishing their chances. And that's more on them than it is on our defense, to be honest. I mean, that's the way I feel about it. Like if you can get a shot at a crossbar, then it's on you to get it in the goal. That's not really anything that our defense was doing. Maybe other than just not allowing them some time to settle and like get a good shot on. But hey, I don't know. Tomato, tomato.
Yeah, and I mean, Courage had another chance in the 87th minute. Which
we just
tells you how this game went. If we're jumping 40 minutes,
we just went 40 minutes. We went almost an entire half with nothing to really talk about.
Yes.
That's a womp womp moment, isn't it?
Is it worth reaching over to the womp womp button?
40 minutes, guys. 40 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, technically 39.
Wow. Let me womp womp you now. Jesus Christ.
The Courage were able to get clear, beat the defense, and get a shot on frame. But we had a DD.
You know what I'm not hearing? Over. You know, we've went 87 minutes, and not really 87 minutes because, whatever. Mm-hmm. But we've gone 87 minutes, and I haven't said a single thing about us other than DD and Riley. That's it.
Accurate.
That's it. We had a block and some saves. That's it. What's our offense doing?
Okay, well, we'll talk about that. They waited till stoppage time.
Ooh, at the death. Let's try. Let's make it dramatic, right?
And maybe that's the tactic. I mean, Italian soccer, pack it away, let them run around, tire themselves out, and then the last few minutes we're going to push. 5th minute of stoppage time, Savannah McCaskill is able to get across into the 6-yard box, and Alyssa Thompson and Katie Johnson were both making parallel runs, which is what we want. But in this moment, we see their keeper come out, and she's diving, but fortunately misses the ball. And Johnson, so close, but she misses the connection.
Oh,
frustrates.
So frustrating. Oh my gosh. Like we've had it happen to us so many times at the death, and we had it happen once, obviously. I mean, we had the one with Katie Johnson, that header at the end of Orlando. But I want it again.
Yeah.
It's happened to us twice where we've had at the death things that have happened that have impacted our points. And this would have been a perfect time for us to get one of those back. Like, all right, like maybe we played like garbage all game and, really didn't dominate, really didn't do much. But hey, it's not always how long you have the ball, but it's what you do with it when you do. Right.
Absolutely.
That would have been an amazing time. I don't know that anybody would have walked away from this game thinking that it was like a huge successful win, because again, ugly wins still count as wins, but I still think they should have had a long conversation on the way back about it. But it still would have been nice for a lot of people to be able to get those 3 points, because boy, did we need them. We need them.
I will take one on the road. We are going into a long road stint here. And, I don't feel like every second of the game seemed like poopski. Like there were good moments and there were good connections. The problem is we didn't do enough with those moments. They're still just nuggets. And I think the stats really reflect this. And let's go ahead and throw those final game stats up on the board. They had 12 shots to our 6. Like that's ridiculous.
That's not okay. You should have 6 on target.
Yeah. That's
At
what
the
we
very
want to
end.
be seeing.
That would be ideal. Let's have 6 on target. Like every, I don't know, every 10, 15 minutes, let's get a shot on target.
But this is what really kills me. So we only take home 39% possession. We have 200 less passes than them and 68% pass accuracy to their 82. So you look at these stats and it's just demoralizing is the word I think I'm going to choose for this one. It's painful because we know we're better than this. And while we did get a point on the road, like yay, woohoo, DD did get the shutout, yay, woohoo. This is not my team.
No.
This is not how my team plays. These are not my team stats. And this is not where I want my team to be in the standings.
Right.
You know, when we look at the standings, which I think is our next slide, we see we've fallen. We came down to 9th.
Yeah.
And
we're 9.
We got to do better because we are digging ourselves into a hole. The gap between first and last is getting wider. And the longer we go, the harder it is. So we need to be able to capture some of these points. And like, I understand we're on the road, but we're on the road against a team that we are pretty level with and that we should be able to take.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, the Courage, you know, prior to this match, they had 10 points. We had 8. You know, they weren't that far above us in the standings. And I mean, yeah, there's nothing that stands out with them. I mean, they had some success. They started out slow, like we had said in the last podcast, and they did have some, you know, some wins that had come recently. So they were kind of feeling it. And I'm sure we were still feeling a little meh about what had happened with our game. But yeah, I think there were moments where, yeah, we should have been able to capitalize, but we have to take the victories because we could have easily also lost that game based on what happened, and we shouldn't have, but we could have. So good on the team for sticking in there and really like preventing that from happening. We've seen it happen too many times where, you know, the end of the game, something's changed and we've lost it, you know, at the death. And I like winning at the death more than I like losing at the death. So,
so true.
Yeah.
So true. And knowing though that our next game is going to be against OL Reign, which we know we had a pretty good look at them last time. We've had like kind of a tumultuous relationship with this team, but they're coming off a 4-1 loss to Gotham, which just makes me smile inside. But
yep, they are.
You know, it's nerve-wracking because now we're the 9th place team playing the 5th place team. We are outside of that playoff line. We're not even close to in contention right now. And we need to keep our numbers up so that we are in this race.
Right. I mean, a win does a lot right now in this league. 3 points definitely does advance you, and it would be huge. And yeah, like you've said, I mean, 4 wins, 1 draw for OL Reign. We've never beaten them. So, you know, obviously there's going to be a lot riding on this. There's going to be a lot of pressure on this. And I mean, OL Reign they've lost their last 2 games. They're probably going to come out pretty hungry. And they are not an easy team. They really aren't.
No.
So that Gotham stint, which Gotham is now in first place, as you can see on these standings. So, you know, clearly they're doing some things right, which I kind of want to segue into.
Oof. Oof.
You want to, can I do this?
Do this.
Are you guys ready for this?
I mean, if they were mad at us, they're going to stay mad at us.
Well, let me, before I do say anything, let me preface what I'm going to say with this. I love our team. I love our players so much. I love our staff. I love front office. I love our coaching staff. And I love Freya. I love her and just what she wants for this team and what they've tried to build. You know, there are a lot of people in my life, in my personal life that, you know, I love and I care deeply for and I want nothing but the best for, but we're just not a good fit together. And that's why we're not together anymore. So I say that.
Go ahead.
Okay, for all of you listening, I'm going to do this. For all of you listening that are not on, I'll try to do my best to convey this slide to you. If you're on YouTube, you'll know what I'm talking about. But Gotham sits at the top of the table. Okay, we do not. We are we're in the basement. We're cellar dwellers for the moment. And we pulled up the stats for her records, her managerial record by team and tenure. And
this would be Freya.
This is Freya. Yes. And it's just, one, it's eerily similar. And okay, if you're listening, I'll do my best. So in the 2 years that Freya was there, they played 31 matches. They were 9, 9, and 13, -5 goal diff with a 29% win. for the almost, let's say, well, almost as many games. Let's just say that for the 2 years Frey has been with us, 28 matches played, 9, 6, and 13, with a negative 11 goal diff and a 32% win percentage. Now,
very similar. Very,
yes,
very similar.
very similar. What's not similar, though, is who is coaching Gotham now and where they're at in the standings. Okay. And I say this with all the love in the world. Sometimes things just don't work. Sometimes things need shaken up. Like we said, the definition of insanity is just, doing the same thing over and expecting different results. And sometimes you've got to do something different and expect different results. And I don't know. I mean, are we there yet? Nina?
And I think that's where the frustration lies, is exactly what you're saying. Like, we keep seeing these little nuggets, these little snippets of, potential for us to really show who we are as a team. But then you look at something like this and, I think back to Tyler Lucy, who we pulled from forward to play defense. And I know that that's because we had issues with the fact that all of our defenders got hurt. But was that truly the best move? We talked about and questioned this a lot last season, where we just need to play people in their right place, because you're just moving one person to cover another, but now you've created gaps and weaknesses in other places.
Well, and we're just not seeing like a consistency either a lot of times. I mean, maybe a little more this year, but definitely last year, people were being moved around so much. It's very hard to get into a rhythm when you're not playing the same position all the time, or you're constantly having to adjust how you play to that system. And we talk a lot about injuries, and and at some point the whole woe is me mentality has to go. All right, well, teams encounter this all the time.
Yeah.
That's a thing where you've got to build depth. That's a thing where you've got to learn how to coach yourself out of negative situations. You can't constantly be relying on, oh, well, once we have this player back, we'll be good. Or, if that hadn't happened, we probably would. I think people are getting tired of the woulda, shoulda, couldas, and they're ready for the, okay, what are we gonna do? Like, we want the present and the now, not living in the past and making excuses. So, I kind of put this up here, not so much as this is what I think needs to happen, but this is where we're at and this is what's going on. Where are everybody's thoughts at this point? I mean, I can tell you what the social medias think. I mean, they're very harsh out there. They don't hold anything back. I mean, and they shouldn't. I feel like there are less repercussions for someone out there than there are for someone like you or I, who want to represent this team, and we want to say things positively. We want to constantly be a cheerleader for them, but we also want to do that for the fans as well. And at one point, you want their voices also to be heard. And I guess that's where I'm coming in with this, is once I see so many things out there after so long, I think it needs to be shared as well. Like, okay, is this a real problem? Is this something that maybe needs to be considered or talked about? I don't know.
And these are facts. These are just facts. And part of the facts within that are a lot of that Gotham coaching staff came over with her. And, we do have a lot of love for these players and for this coaching staff. And, it's very interesting to see something very eerily similar that is happening. And it just makes you question a lot. And I know from, rewatching the HBO documentary, there were differences of opinion as it pertained to recruiting players and how those players should be played and what our coaching style should be. But now we're in year 2, and it's time. It's time for us to kind of solidify, to find our shape, and to see this team become what they can be, instead of just, a team that's out here having fun.
Right. I mean, I understand building that culture first. Here's my thoughts on this. Everybody was talking about how San Diego came into this and they built their winning team first, kind of stepped away from that, the culture of things and building that up. And we kind of did the opposite. What I do love about that is, in a winning or a losing franchise, if you've built that culture first, that'll still be there at the end of the day. Those people will still be there. They're a part of that. So we build that culture up.
You, how long does that culture remain if your team doesn't win? How quickly do we slide into negativity?
Well, and they said on the documentary, the whole plan was to build the culture first, to make the playoffs the next season, and to win the whole thing the third. That was what they said as what their goals kind of were. So listen, season's not over. Things can change. Who knows?
This is true.
Sydney Leroux,
you don't have to be first when you go into playoffs. You can come into playoffs at 6th and win it all.
That's the thing about USA and in America. We can just win at the right time, and it matters. You don't have to be consistently good all season to be the champion, which, I have my thoughts on that. But when you're a team that's not consistently good, you like that because there is still a chance at the end of the day. I mean, these playoffs we know come down to literally those last couple weeks. So look,
so we not can all hope a last minute push.
Yeah, not all hope is lost. If you're sitting there with your hands in your head and you're the person out there on Facebook, and I've seen it, who said, we're not making the playoffs this year. Well, that is not an accurate statement. That is a, is it likely we will, or is it likely we won't? Yeah, you can look at that percentage wise, but that's not a factual statement.
We can also look at the fact that who made playoffs last year came down to the final match of the season. Like, Absolutely. It came down to the wire, and I expect it to do the same again this year. Nobody's going to run off with it, and even then, you still have to make it through playoffs.
There were cellar dwellers on that table that made a push at the end and made playoffs because, well, we didn't. Mm-hmm. So, and we were consistently right at that playoff line. So there's nothing out there right now that says that we can't do that. There's no point during this season where we have just been blown out, down and out, and embarrassed. We have lost games by a penalty kick that, is questionable, but not tactically something wrong. That was that. We have lost points to big teams like Portland because of a giant goalie with a back heel because we fumbled a ball. We've lost points in moments. We haven't lost games.
I love that you say this because I want to add to that I would rather see us start gaining momentum towards the end of the season. I would rather see everything start to fall in place and to ride into playoffs in a high. So if what we're doing now puts us into that position, if we are just figuring out little pieces and soon it's going to click, perfect.
Right.
But the process is so painful. Can't we Ted Lasso it and let all of the fans in for practice? Like, can't I
just can we come to practice and see what you see? Because, I'm sure there's stuff that happens there that, that makes those decisions happen. And I don't know. Anyways, I like that you pulled this slide up. That's a great segue into, we can talk all day about what's happened, but let's talk about what is coming up. How about that?
Absolutely. And we know we are continuing our road tour. We are this Saturday at 11:30 a.m. Taking on OL Reign. We are away. It's 12:30 p.m. kickoff.
Yep.
Oh, okay. The watch party, starts at 11:30 a.m. I can read. It's been a long
day.
Wow,
Nina, you can do this. I believe in you.
Maybe not. Go to YouTube. No.
read the slide. That'll tell you. No, what she's trying to yourself. Say. What Nina is trying to eloquently put together with words is on Saturday, May 27th at 11:30 a.m. You can head over to Underdogs in Glendale, California for a watch party if you would love to watch this game with some of your friends. It's fun to celebrate together. Hopefully that's what we're all doing, is celebrating. I don't want to commiserate with anybody, but celebrating would be ideal. Kickoff is at 12:30, like she said. So we talked a little bit about OL Reign and where they're at and what they're coming off of. So this is going to be, I think, a good matchup. The last time we played them in the Challenge Cup, we got a draw. Yeah. So look,
let's see what happens.
Not all hope is lost, guys. Come on. I know everybody's got their hands in their heads and is frustrated. We are too. Don't get me wrong. We're not. But we're just trying to put some things in perspective. And I bring up this stuff about Freya as just, a talking point. Like, when do we need to start having that conversation? When do we stop waiting for the team to turn things around and wait for someone to turn the team around?
Ooh, deep. Right? But you know what? Let's end this once again on a positive note. And we have a quote from Paige Nielsen. And she says, earning the point tonight was huge, but there's still so much more you guys have to see.
I mean, yes, I agree. I mean, we talk about it. There's stuff out there that, we still haven't seen. We still haven't seen a healthy Sydney Leroux. We still have a Merritt Mathis out there. we still, we still have some potential. We still have yet to see, I think, Julie Ertz fully like give her, come into form with the whole team and have that connection. And I think we have great players. So I hope it gets figured out soon, because it's not fun talking about these games unless we're winning. So,
Truth.
anyways,
Bye.
bye.
And here's our fluff.
You just really want to get into that fluff, didn't you?
I do.
What do you want to talk about?
Talk about how I'm not going to talk to people for a while.
Oh, Nina doesn't want to talk to people. Nina wants to
be
overwhelmed. She wants to just live in a hole, guys, because like we said, it is Mental Health Awareness Month, and it's good to check in with people and see how they're doing. It's good to have a proper cry from one night, like here and there. It's okay to have a glass of wine if you're in a good space to handle that. If it's just something that makes you puts you in a good space and prevents you from being in a bad space. So
yeah, and I mean, what most people don't know about me is I am an introvert. Like, I get all of my energy from being alone, not talking to people, getting to relax. And I don't consider you, Amanda, a person. I also don't consider JR a person, and I don't consider my parents or Christian a person, because you are people who I can sit there and not have to talk to. Like,
we can literally sit in the same room together and not talk, and it's okay.
And it's okay.
You don't have to, your energy is not being sucked from you while you're with us.
Yes. But going back to work where I'm in the office 5 days a week, I don't get any work from home days anymore. And like, I'm taking it because also it's a 15-minute drive. It's not far. But talking to people 5 days a week, doing 2 different soccer teams and like being out all day with that, it drains me. And I'm just so tired. And I just want to go somewhere and not talk to people.
I want to say I understand. I feel like I'm on the opposite end of that. Like, I get very sad right now being at home alone because of everything, waiting and to go back to work. But then on the same end, I'm also mildly anxious about it too. Yeah. So I'm in a weird space too. Yeah, I'm in a weird space too. But I did get a call about my PCL brace today, and had to send in my leg measurements. I had to measure my leg. That was sexy.
Did you have a measuring thing?
No. What did you? Don't ask.
What did you use to measure your leg?
Well, I had a tape measure, okay, like a regular one, and I had a shoestring.
Okay, you're creative.
But weird, shoestrings are kind of stretchy, so then you're kind of like, did I stretch it or not? So I did it like 42 times each time in each part of my leg. But I think we're solidly set on me being a medium. So hopefully this week I'll be able to get my actual brace and stop living. Huh?
You're a medium?
Well, think about people who are very small. I'm pretty muscular. My legs are.
You do have a lot of muscle.
Yeah, I have muscular legs. So I mean, they're going away like rapidly. Like, I was like looking the other day. I'm like, wow, I have no quads anymore.
Oh
like,
my gosh, stop.
I mean, I can tell though. I mean, I haven't been able to work out my lower body in God, like 6 weeks. I mean, nobody knows that or really talks about it, but walking up a mountain and down, it doesn't really do the same thing as like actually doing squats and lifting weights and stuff. So 100%. I feel you, girl. Yeah. Mental Health Month. I definitely feel you, for way different reasons, but same in game at the end of it, where you just sit there and you just feel this heaviness and you're like, I need to do something, but I don't know what.
Yeah. I think the important thing is to just remember we're all different and we all need to be supported in different ways. And like, I love and embrace you, and I'll go out with you if you'll sit at home with me.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm fine with that 10 out of 10 times. And anybody out there that's listening, that's going through their own things, you always feel free to like reach out and message us and talk to us. We both have, varying degrees of perspective when it comes to things and can talk you through stuff. And if you want to vent about if this team is what's stressing you out, you can do that too. Like, vent to us and we can talk about it like actual adults. We don't need to yell and name call and put down. We can just actually talk about things. So, because I see a lot of that in the soccer community, unfortunately. People out there just,
I don't have space for that kind of negativity in my life. You can have your opinions and be upset.
Yeah, I don't have time for that, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, sport is entertainment. Sport is a game. Sport is not our livelihood. It's the players. They're the ones that are allowed to get a little emotional and a little upset. You and I are allowed to leave at the end of the day and go, all right, well, was I entertained or not? Did I get my money's worth or not? I don't know. What can we do better to make it more enjoyable? Do I come back? Do I not? Those are the things we can talk about. But we certainly never need to go out there and bash one another,
Imagine how
mentally.
you would feel if somebody was always coming for your job and saying you needed to be fired. Like,
Oh my
I would go
God.
home and cry every night.
Absolutely not. Yeah. Like, when you talk about a player specifically and their performance and why they're not doing good, like, I want to know if these are coming from people who have ever actually played in a level that's even close to that. Like,
No, they clearly aren't.
no.
If you had any sort of competitive, like, soccer repertoire, you wouldn't come for someone's job. Same way where at work, even if you don't like the way somebody does something, you don't try and get teammates fired. Like, if you work with somebody, you don't go out of your way to get them fired
No, you
because
work
you
with
don't
them
mess
to
with
make
somebody's livelihood.
No, you go to them and maybe try to help them, try to be a friend, try to do something. I mean, karma comes down on those people at some point. It's not your idea. You shouldn't be the one playing,
Mhm.
judge, jury, and executioner at the end of the day. So it takes too much energy to be angry. I'll be honest. Like, I don't have that in me. I don't have the ability to just be
Ooh,
angry and to be accusatory and to be negative.
ooh.
I don't want to be a problem presenter. I want to be a problem solver.
I
And I
only
think we
like
have
to be irrationally angry.
Exactly. I like to have a good reason if I'm gonna
I
be, but
don't. I like to have, like,
no,
BS reasons.
I do not. But, you do. You see so many people out there who all they do is present the problem, but they never present, like, the result, like, how they would fix it or whatever, and it's just like, "Oh, I'm just exhausted sometimes from it." I'm like, "Oh, social media is a tough place to exist." So,
That's why I don't
if you
go
guys
there.
have a chance to say something positive to someone today, you could change their life, go out there and just do it because those words do go a long way.
I like that. Let's end on that.
All right, guys. This has been a fun one, despite the results. Hopefully, next one will be better. Bye.